Looking to recruit local residents in Mexico for the future, Tzu Chi hosts volunteer training on the weekend. We meet Cai Peijun, a new Shoots Scholarship Recipient, and learn what makes her deserving of Tzu Chi's financial aid. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with two reports on the aftermath of Mexico's earthquake on September 19th. First of all, we joined Tzu Chi's disaster assessment team as they arrived in Lawak City, where they visited the most devastated areas, such as Del Mar. The roads in Lawak were heavily damaged by the recent earthquake. Giovanni Lopez and her family cherished their two-story building in Del Mar. It was devastated entirely.
I had to be strong because my children were there, but later it hit me. I thought about my parents' efforts over so many years of memories for all of us. A solution so that the efforts of so many years does not go to waste. I pleaded to turn back time for nothing to have happened, but that just can't be.
All that my children and I had is gone. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we try to be strong, but the pain we feel inside is just too strong.
The disaster assessment team has continued surveying the impacted areas and are determining the needs of survivors in Lawak.
Yes, but there has been no help.
There are about 1,300 families that suffered from the earthquake in Lawak. There are another 3,000 families that we don't have any information on regarding their situation after the earthquake. We need many volunteers to survey all of those devastated areas so that we can determine the actual aftermath situation. This is a huge challenge for us. I saw how the walls and homes cracked and the earth opened. I felt that this was the end. The entire house sank into the ground all of a sudden. I looked at it from outside. It sank about 10 inches. There are cracks showing inside the house.
Our assessment team also visited with Lawak government officials, seeking possible partnership with the local government to aid survivors. As the quake's ground zero in Mexico City is very massive, a large number of volunteers are required to join the disaster assessment effort. In our second report on the aftermath of the Mexico quake, we joined the volunteers as they used a weekend to hold a local volunteer training, hoping to invite more local residents to help their fellow countrymen.
On the morning of the weekend, 45 residents from San Gregorio Aztlapuco participated in the volunteer training organized by Tzu Chi's quake assessments team in Mexico. Through this event, it is hoped that it helps reunite the community, invites more people to the volunteers' ranks to assess damage.
This coin is for you because I'm a Mexican.
We found out about this after receiving the announcement from the San Gregorio group.
Somos vecinos del pueblo.
We are neighbors in this town. We all know what happened in this region. We have our own history here as we usually support and help each other in our time of need.
This open venue has brought us together. Since it is the city center, many residents who did not know this event have come here to listen to Tzu Chi's story.
Local volunteer Brenda Narciso and Jose Lechuga share their experiences of working with Tzu Chi to conduct disaster assessments over the past few days.
We should not only look after each other, but we also need to take care of the whole town.
Love is the beginning of hope.
We came here out of love, regardless of our different ethnicity or religion. This way we'll obtain the biggest support and spread the great love to the needy.
We came here to help at the beginning when the disaster occurred. This is about help, and whether it is in favorable circumstances or adversity, we will always be here to help out. We have learned from this experience that as long as we have love, then we can do many things. We cannot survive in the world with hate in our heart.
Although the quake victims experienced a senseless disaster, it is believed that they are able to rebuild their life with the support and love of Tzu Chi volunteers.
Each year, Tzu Chi volunteers are given the important task of distributing rice from Taiwan to different countries. Among them is Haiti, and in mid to late October, distributions were held in Port-au-Prince. Thanks to the outpouring of love from the locals, the distributions went off without a hitch. This early morning in Haiti's Port-au-Prince, Tzu Chi volunteers are heading out to prepare the venue for the day's rice distribution.
We are very, very happy to participate and to give our time to help people in need.
Father Tzu Chi has brought 75 teachers and 33 students to help the 64 Tzu Chi volunteers with the rice distribution for the impoverished in Juilliard community. Under the watchful eye of the police, 1,243 families received 3,729 bags of rice in just 3 hours.
It's very costly to purchase rice in Haiti. I don't have any money to buy any, so I'm grateful I have the opportunity to receive rice today. Now my whole family can eat, and it's thanks to Tzu Chi and all the volunteers.
At another rice distribution aimed at families of Onash Junior High and its nearby poor residents, Father Tzu Chi introduces more about Tzu Chi and shows off the hats and backpacks made from old rice bags.
Many of the students come to school on empty stomachs. Now they have Tzu Chi's rice. They can eat before they come to school. Every family received 3 bags of 10-kilogram rice. It's such a great gift for them. Everyone is grateful for Tzu Chi's assistance.
My home was robbed. They took everything and cut off my arm. I can't work now, but I have some 10 people in my family. We often starved, but now thanks to Tzu Chi's rice, there's hope in life once more. Thank you very much.
After their experience with the rice distribution here, the volunteers have plenty of experience to speed up the event. Thus, 1,214 families received 3,642 bags of rice in a timely manner, while all looking forward to eating the said rice in the upcoming days. At the third rice distribution event in Haiti, there weren't as many recipients as the previous 2 sessions, but there were still a lot of volunteers on hand offering assistance, such as teachers and students. The third day of rice distribution in Haiti is directed at parents of the La Saline Unified Schools and some impoverished residents nearby. Having learned about Tzu Chi's early bamboo coin bank era, local volunteers also do the same now.
Whenever there's a distribution, I'll bring out a bamboo coin bank to see if people want to donate money. Some will donate change, while others will say they don't have any money today and will donate next time. No matter the situation, I always smile at them because I'm a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Father Tzu Chi and U.S. Tzu Chi volunteer James Chen hold hats and bags made from old rice packages local residents have made to thank Tzu Chi. Although this idea began from South African countries, the love is all the same.
They are very grateful for Taiwan, Tzu Chi, and the Master, so when they wear this hat, they will think of the rice they have received and remember us. When we hear of them sharing these stories with us, the volunteers are also full of joy.
Each of the 1,000-some families will receive 30 kilograms of rice, which means the volunteers have 3,000-some bags to hand out. Thankfully, there are plenty of teaching staff and students on hand to help.
I'm here to help hand out rice to the recipients. I feel like one of the Tzu Chi volunteers. Thank you, Master Zheng Yan and the volunteer, for coming to our country to give rice to the people each year.
Thank you for the rice distribution. Thank you, Tzu Chi, Master Zheng Yan, and Taiwan. Thank you.
Tzu Chi's presence in Haiti has been felt since the 2010 earthquake. Volunteers build their bridge of communication with love, and now their charitable deeds have light up many forgotten corners of the country. 29 Tzu Chi New Shoots Scholarship ceremonies will be held this year for over 9,000 deserving students. As this year is the 11th year for the program to take place, Tzu Chi hopes these young recipients will strive forward in their studies and continue their upstanding characters.
Cai is dancing happily and openly on stage. This is the fourth time for him to receive the Tzu Chi scholarship. When he was at grade 7, his family suffered a financial setback to where they didn't know where their next meal would come from. However, the situation did not beat him down. Instead, he shouldered the responsibility of taking care of his family, resulting in maturity beyond his age.
Whether you're optimistic or pessimistic, the day will still go by as usual. So why don't you live happily? Because of some things that have happened to me, I'm more mature and independent.
Some children would be beaten in his condition, but he would think for a while, and he would know he didn't have to keep this to himself and solve his problems.
Chen Yuhuan is more introverted than other people. Not very good with words, he uses actions to express his love for his mother. Whenever he returns to Taipei, he always helps his mother with her public cleaning work.
My mom doesn't have days off. Whenever it is a typhoon day, rainy day, or hot day, she always goes out to sweep the streets. Whenever I have time, I always pay her a visit.
He offered to do his mother's work for him. When his mother mentioned this, she was smiling and quite proud. Yuhuan has grown up so much and has become more mature.
This year's Tzu Chi New Shoots Scholarship will be awarded to a total of some 9,300 students. These students are growing up in difficult situations, but they are mentally stronger than other people. Tzu Chi will continue giving them love so they can continue growing up with healthy minds.
Among the New Shoots Scholarship recipients this year is 8th grader Cai Peijun, whose father undergoes dialysis and cannot work. Cai studies quite hard and also helps her sisters with their homework. Though she's currently living away from home, she does her best to return home on the weekend to help with household chores.
Cai Peijun is a grade 8 student. She lives in a rental house alone. When she has breaks, she will return to her home in the mountain and does housework. Her father suffers from diabetes and also multiple organ failures. He has to undergo dialysis 3 times a week. Peijun is the oldest daughter and she has 2 younger sisters.
My life is different from other people, so I must study harder than other people.
She knows the way out of poverty is through education. She has been getting good grades since she was little, and she also tutors her 2 younger sisters in their homework. Their father always encouraged them to study hard.
Remember how people help you. When you are capable in the future, you need to pay back to society.
Cai Peijun is also a member of the school's drumming team. She said drumming can help her focus. When she runs into troubles, she'll find ways to solve them.
I just keep practicing and also asking other people.
Peijun and her sisters also attend Tzu Chi's events often because they want to pay back to society.
I try to spend more time with them, but I live out of the house now, and I don't have time to be with them, so whenever I'm free on the weekends, I'll return home to see them.
Their lives are not easy, but they are close to each other. Tzu Chi volunteers visit them often.
He's been teaching his 3 daughters well. He is very tough. He hopes to see his kids doing something for society while he's still alive.
She is aggressive and obedient.
Children growing up with hardship know they must be content and grateful. They also hope someday they can help other people.
In southern Taiwan, the Pingtung County government has faced the problem of disposing of driftwood in recent years. From June of last year, they invited a company to turn driftwood into fuel pellets. Follow our report as we learn how driftwood can become a renewable energy source, as well as other uses such as art and furniture.
After the storm, a large amount of driftwood was generated by strong winds and heavy rains. A similar situation repeated itself this June. This is Pingdong's Fangliao landfill. Behind me is a mountain of driftwood, which government authorities were charged with dealing with at a cost of $15 per ton. Last year, Pingdong County government handled more than 5,000 tons of driftwood and other waste wood, which was a financial burden. Driftwood contains fine sand, stone, and metal impurities. In the past, this has made reuse difficult, with almost all of it sent to the incinerators. But this not only costs money, but also harms the environment. From June 2016, Pingdong's EPA cooperated with a local company to develop into a renewable energy source. Driftwood is first put into an initial stage grinder and then a second stage grinder before it goes through a filtering machine to remove impurities.
These rollers separate the material as it passes under the magnet, which separates metal and filters out of these impurities.
Pingdong leads the whole country in this technology, turning old wood into a new source of renewable energy. This machine operates at 150 degrees Celsius and 2,000 times normal atmospheric pressure to allow the lignin and cellulose inside driftwood to become a semi-fused state, becoming a fuel pellet.
Some of these factories still burn crude oil, which leads to lots of pollution, as we hope to replace this fuel source by utilizing these fuel pellets.
Compared to a similar amount of crude oil, these fuel pellets can generate about half of the electricity. That is, 2 tons of biomass fuel pellets produces a similar amount as 1 ton of crude oil. However, the current cost of crude oil is about $360 a ton, while fuel pellets are about $90 per ton, which is about half of the overall cost.
Although the fuel pellets produce carbon dioxide, which they are burned, when considering the whole cycle, it actually carbon neutral because we are utilizing wood, which is different than digging fossil fuels from the ground.
Driftwood, when burned, can produce this carbon-containing coking material, as the quality of these fuel pellets results in very little pollution.
Burning waste wood contains a lot of metal impurities, resulting in fly ash, which is difficult to handle. If we use these fuel pellets, it is much more stable with only 0.1% fly ash.
This process is better for the environment and saves money, but there are still some challenges. At present, this fuel pellet technology has only been applied to wood incinerators, but to promote sustainable energy, Pingdong's EPA will promote more small-scale power plants.
In the future, we will invite a company to come here and establish a 3 megawatts incinerator to utilize these biomass pellets.
Driftwood's use as a biofuel has long been promoted in Europe and the United States. As early as 10 years ago, the UK converted half of coal-fired power plants to biofuel power plants. This is a good reference point for Taiwan to follow when it comes to green energy. In the view of some, driftwood is not only a future source of energy, but also material for artists to use.
And then use this wood carving tool to remove some of this wood and do the carving. Driftwood, which has been affected by water, shows physical markings, and you can see that inside the wood there are many cracks inside the grain of the wood. After the carving is completed, you won't see the cracks or the impurity of this wood.
This is the Dongshi Forestry Culture Park, where much of the artwork is made from driftwood. After Typhoon Morakot, there is a major surge in driftwood in Taiwan, with many people reusing this material.
Miss, did you know what you're sitting on? You don't know it. It's actually a very long tongue of the frog.
This frog's tongue has become a bench for tourists to sit on as we look at other rotten driftwood, which has been turned into art.
Picking up this driftwood and finding another use is a good idea. I think that many other artists should use this good material. Taiwan has so much good wood material, and this is a way to show the beauty of our land.
Turning this driftwood, which once left a big scar in the mountains, into attractive artwork is honoring the earth and allowing these precious resources to be used once again on a never-ending cycle of life and rebirth.
In our next report, we look at a successfully matched bone marrow stem cell pairing. Cai Peijun was diagnosed with leukemia when he was in the 10th grade. Through Tzu Chi's stem cell registry, a match was found. However, not long after Cai went through the first transplant, his condition worsened. Thankfully, the donor gave once more to save Cai's life.
I had a severe headache and I wanted to vomit.
When recalling the days after he was diagnosed with leukemia in his high school years, Cai Peijun can never forget the pain.
It was a hard life. I had to receive injection every day, which made me quite uncomfortable.
While Cai was in despair, he found a matching donor through Tzu Chi's stem cell registry.
We're luckier than other families, and we had 5 successful pairings.
However, less than half a year after going through the first stem cell transplant, Cai's disease worsened and he needed donor lymphocyte infusion. With the assistance of Tzu Chi, Cai was able to find the same donor who was willing to give her selfless love once again. She is Zhou Jingyi, who is an after-school class teacher and has donated her stem cell twice to save Cai's life.
I thought it was a precious opportunity, and at the time I was also at the lowest point of my life, so I wanted to do something meaningful and special.
In the beginning, Mrs. Zhou's husband opposed her donation, but Zhou insists on doing this.
I was afraid, so I opposed her donation, but since my wife had a strong willingness, I could only give way to her.
When Mrs. Zhou needed to make a donation for the second time, her health condition was not good. While she was hesitant to do so, she was encouraged by her father's words.
I told my daughter, if you don't save him, and if he is not able to survive, you may feel guilty in your whole life. I've also signed up for the blood test, but I haven't had the chance to find a match. If I'm successfully paired, I'll definitely save the person.
Therefore, Zhou's mother and Tzu Chi volunteers gave her supplements and shared her work. Without telling her husband, Zhou donated her lymphocytes once again.
It was because Miss Zhou's parents and family have great compassion and love that I supported her to complete this mission.
Thanks to Jingyi's donation, Jiting was able to survive. Now he is a college sophomore.
I'm very grateful to her. Thank her for insisting donating her stem cells to me, even though her health condition was not good. Everyone worked very hard to help me.
Knowing that the recipient has a healthier life, Mrs. Zhou feels very happy. The thing she feels the most grateful is her family's support and love, allowing her to fulfill her wish of saving a person's life.
I am very grateful to my family, including my parents and my sisters. If I have any chance to receive blessings, I'll give them to my family.
In response to Tzu Chi's One Good Deed a Day campaign, volunteers from Butterworth, Malaysia visited different areas to seek donations, including the market, restaurants, and more. They hope their efforts will motivate more people to do charitable deeds in the future. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.